So, how are you doing? Doing great? That's good. I'm going to talk about exactly that. Why your product is the second most important thing when you start a business. Now, before I start, I just want to see who's in the crowd today. How many here has started their own businesses? Raise your hand, please. Oh, turn around. Watch. Keep your hand up. That's opportunity right there. So how many of you are thinking about starting your own business? Awesome. Great. Let's see if I can make this work. There. So, yes, I'm here to talk about what we want to call the entrepreneurial revolution. And why we call it that is that we want to see the dawn of a new entrepreneurial spirit that goes out there and not only chasing investors and investments, but also dare to pull up their sleeves and do their job that they are supposed to do, which is go out there and sell. So we're going to look into what selling is for startups and entrepreneurs as well. Before I go into that, just want to introduce the company. We're based in Gothenburg, here in Sweden, but we also have a branch in Seychelles. The reason why is because I was born in the Seychelles. That's why I have this strange name. But we're a small business. We're a small group, but we work on a global scale because we have a training program that is online with live sessions. So we have basically startups from many different countries that are part of our educational program. We work with a couple of partners as well. I was very pleased to be invited here to speak to all of you as well. But first of all, this, for me, every time I come to a room like this, I see opportunity everywhere. And there was a lot of people here. Most of you guys have your own business. And this is a place where you can create great contacts for the future. So this coming 30 minutes, you're gonna be involved with this keynote, all right? You're not gonna just sit around and listen, because we're going to do some things that bring some energy into the room as well. So first, what I want you to do is I want you guys to stand up and I want you guys to turn around and just say hello to somebody that is around you that has their own business. Just introduce yourself, yourself and your business. Go. Just do it. Stand up. All right, that's great. Okay, guys, give yourself an applause and a high five and just sit down, please. Okay, now, isn't it strange that when we come to places like this, this is the Swedish culture. We just walk in, we sit polite, don't make too much noise. But the fact is that we need to have an open mind to opportunities that is around us everywhere. That's part of being an entrepreneur. Vimentis is my 6th company. I'm one of those kids that grew up that was never really good at school. I had too much energy and I had too much ideas. And when I was 18, I had my first company. Actually, it was before that, but that's what I say on record. And I was in the entertainment industry for approximately 2 years. I had nightclubs, DJs. It was fun, really fun. But that's a lifestyle you can take for about 2 years and then, then you better do something else. But I'm here also to talk about first something that is really important and why we do what we do. Because Vimentis' mission is to really help entrepreneurs to do these kind of things, get the confidence they need to come to these kind of events and walk out with a bag of opportunities. Because there is some facts that we need to face. And I don't want to be a party pooper, but this is the facts. It doesn't look good. When we actually look at the numbers, startups that actually succeed out there, it does not look good at all. I'm not happy with these numbers. And if you think this is only in Sweden, think again. in our opinion, there is a virus going on that is spread around the world like wildfire within the small business community and startup community. And we would like to call that sales blindness. The symptoms? Well, missed opportunities, investment focus, artificial growth, etc. On my way to Helsingborg today, I read the paper Dagens Industri, and I read about this company. It was so funny because, I mean, today of all days, in the midsection, you can find a very interesting article about Camp, which is a tech startup company that goes a little different way. They don't chase investors only. They want to have natural growth in their business. Opposite what the culture in, for an example, Silicon Valley has created. And there's a huge debate going on right now when we talk about Uber's introduction to the stock market. And it's very interesting. I really encourage everyone to pay attention to what is going on, because we are creating companies and we basically build them focusing more towards the investors than to the clients and customers. And you can look this up. This is not my idea. This is just what's happening out there. But there is a cure, and that's why we're here today. We're going to talk about sales. And I know that the moment you mention this word, you get a bad taste in your mouth. Because the experience a lot of people have around sales is usually extremely pushy, extremely this and that. I can see a couple of heads already going, yeah. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about what has actually happened within the sales market industry. First of all, in order to see what actually happened, we have to look back on the market from a sales perspective, okay? I think it was 2 years ago, I was hosting an international sales and business seminar in the Seychelles, together with the University of Seychelles. And I met Dr. Andrew Simbroff. And anyone heard of him, by the way? It's just interesting. Okay, he's the founder of 3D Startup, one of the biggest startup camps, I think, in the world. I think they're in 48 countries or something. If you haven't seen his program, then look it up. It's really interesting. But anyway, I met him there because I was invited to this open discussion where he was basically talking about the market and so on. And afterwards, we took a walk, actually, on the campus. And we talked about the market. And he told me something. He said, Michel, did you know what? 20 years ago, Fortune 500 companies had a lifespan of 65 years. Today, that numbers are down to 15. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. 15 years. I'm not talking about basement companies now. I'm talking about Fortune 500 companies. And basically what we could see is that starting from the Industrial Revolution and forward, up until 2006, we could see that the market was so patient with us. We could come up with all these inventions, and the market would go, hey, what's that? I want to see more. I want to hear more. I read somewhere that prior to 2006, we were bombarded with about 700 sales messages per week. Anyone knows what that number is now? And that was through television, radio, newspapers, etc. Anyone knows the number now, approximately? Okay, it's over 12,000. All right? So we went from, let's see if this works. We went from about 700 hits per week to over 12,000. And we still think that the product is everything. I don't know how many startups I encounter per week where they are so focused on the product. They get stuck. But we all know that's not the case. Because having a sales perspective and really understand the buying behaviors of a market, we need to realize that what is the truth today can change within 3 months. That's how fast it goes. So if you have the perfect product today, it can be completely something else within 6 months. It happened over here as well, but it wasn't that quick. But still, we have some examples. We have one in Sweden. It was a company called Faucet. Anyone heard of it? Yeah? 1976, it was the biggest company in the world, producing manufacturing type machines. Some of you goes like, what's that? No, I'm just kidding. 2 years later, they were bankrupt. Why? Because they didn't listen to the market. And we think it's interesting. And what we can see now is that companies that focus so much on facts the big companies, they started a long time ago to focus more on our feelings that we create. I always get startups come up to me and say, Michel, can you help me with a pitch? I need to do a sales pitch for investors. And I always ask them, okay, what do you want them to feel? What do you mean? Oh, but you want them to be motivated, to be curious? What's the feeling? Or disgust? What? Because if we start there, the words usually come out by itself. And this is something that we, especially in the West, we have tried to avoid this for a long time. But what we can see, and we know this, the feeling determines the facts. Otherwise, everyone would have the same opinion about things. But we can see this going into politics. We can see it in so many different areas. And why do we think that it's different in business? So, anyone seen a car commercial that was actually about the car? How does a car commercial look like? Someone, please. This is also, yeah, stand up and tell everyone, what's a car commercial look like?
Generally, like they show family, a happy family spending time together.
Exactly.
Connect.
Exactly. Anyone seen a car commercial the last 10 years where they open up the car and they go like, yeah, this is, oh, I don't even know the names. Anyone seen that car commercial? No. So we use different elements. Some use humor. Some use feeling that this is quality. And this and that. And which is very interesting because the car is usually the second biggest investment in a household today. And we base that on this. Isn't it interesting? Anyone bought a house or apartment? Raise your hand. Okay. When you came to the house or apartment, did you see shoes everywhere, baby toys? How do they do it? Come on. How do you sell a house? You create a feeling. Exactly, sir. So why are we so stuck in creating the perfect product? It's so unique. Imagine your client walking out on the market every day. What do they see? And the thing is that we are so focused that, oh, our website must be like this and it must be. No, guys, the only judge out there for your product is your clients. Of course, I'm counting on that it has a certain level. That's the new market today. You can't bring any crap to the market, of course not. But just as much as I go to the car dealership and they turn on the car and I go like, oh, it's working. No, I'm counting on that this is working. We already have a level of expectance out there. So yeah, it should work, it should be, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Because then you will be stuck. It's better to, I love what I heard up here. The panel was talking about it and so on. We need to understand that the market is in a constant change. It's in a constant change. And for us to be able to go out there and create a successful company with natural growth, we need to do something else. We need to focus on something else. We need to start to go out there and go on meetings and talk to the clients, talk to the customers. But we don't do that because it's much easier to sit back and try to do this. But that's not where the clients are, and we know that. We're going to do some fun stuff as well. Anyways, and that brings me to what has happened in the sales industry. Well, first of all, sales and marketing, that usually, that prior to a couple of years ago, was two separated lanes like this. It's now started to work like this. Because sales without marketing becomes very, very, how do you say? It becomes very short. I don't find the word, sorry. But marketing without sales becomes almost like the list you write down for Santa Claus. Because if you don't know the buying behavior, what is the marketing plan for? And in order for you to understand the buying behavior, you need to go out and truly talk to your clients. And so when people ask me, Michel, can we do the pitch and so on? I say, yeah, but we need to realize that if you pitch to me, I'm looking for some things in your pitch. But if you have a bunch of different investors, they can be different from me. So I need to understand that there is more to it than just the words coming out. How many here have seen Shark Tank or Dragon's Den? Raise your hand. Okay, that's almost everyone. Have you seen so many times it has happened where they say, you know what, I don't want your product, but I want to invest in you? Have you seen that? Isn't that interesting? And the key is that these people has one more ingredient that they put into it. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. They dare to utilize their emotional intelligence as well. They dare to understand that there is more to it than just the facts. I'm not saying that the facts shouldn't be there. I'm counting on them to be there. That's a big difference. But just like when we are watching a movie or somebody standing on stage and having a keynote, I could stand like this. Oh, hi, it's very important to have sales emotional and everything, and it's very interesting, and it's very important to be energetic, and it's very important. I could do that. That wouldn't be so much fun to listen to. And some of you may think, well, Michel, isn't this obvious? No, it's not. How many here? I see some people that I guess have successful businesses as well. How many of you have sit in a sales meeting where the other person pulls up their laptop, turns it around, and voila, here's the PowerPoint. And they sit there. We, I, we, do, we are so, we are this, we are that, I am, blah, 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 blah. And in the end I say, you want to cooperate? How many of you have seen this? Raise your hand. A couple of you. Yeah. And it's interesting because Salesforce, which is the biggest, it's one of the biggest CRM systems in the world. They made a global survey where they asked people in leading positions on a couple of questions about, especially about business meetings and so on. And they said, and one of the numbers that came out was that 65% of all the people they asked in leading positions said that they were less interested after the business meeting than before. 65%. That's not a good number. And I refuse to think that there is so much uninteresting products around the world. So that could justify the number. Because I know that if we really look into it, it's the way we go out there and present ourselves. It's the way we go out there and tackle the market that makes the difference. So what am I after? Well, I'm after this. I am after that we start to realize that emotional intelligence is something that we really need to start to practice. And there is so much levels to this. There's so many levels. For an example, one of the ingredients is also the ability to perform. The reason why 87% of all salespeople and entrepreneurs fail their sales meetings, because that's the statistics as well. One of the big reasons is that we don't have the self-confidence and the self-image to go out there and truly perform. When was the last time in school you practiced self-confidence? When did it happen? Isn't that interesting? So there's so much to it than just go out there, and we know that. And this was something that we saw. The more we started to work with salespeople, that was our mission from the beginning. But then when we started to work with the startup community and the small business community, we saw this every day. Because we could talk about, okay, you have to book your meetings, for an example. When you start your business and the calendar is empty, there is only one thing that you need to do. Book your meetings and go out there and talk to your market. But what happens instantly? Oh, no. Because cold calling is dead. That's another session. That's not dead. So we have to start there. And this is something that we do a lot, that we focus on, okay, the individual that we work with, they need to have the self-confidence they need in order for them to go out there and conquer the market that they deserve. And this is basically, you can practice these things, as well as you can practice the way you present yourself. So that is why I told you guys, I'm not the only one who's going to work today. We're going to do something to prove it for you guys, once and for all, okay? Now, I want to know how many of you have a smartphone? Raise your hand. That's perfect. Now, what I want you to do is that I want you guys, first of all, I want you to stand up and find a person so you can pair 2 and 2, okay? Go. And you can take out your phone and have it in your hand. Okay? Now, if I can have your attention. So, I hope you introduced yourself. Now, this is the fun part. Every time I do this in Sweden, there will always be some people in the room go, "Ah, no, I'm too grown up for doing this exercise. I can't do that." So we have something called jantelagen in Sweden. I just want to tell you that I kidnapped it and it's in the ocean. So we don't have to be embarrassed of doing anything. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to do an exercise that you will bring with you from today, like a memory. Because I want you to have this also as a reminder, like tomorrow, when you wake up and go to work. I'll explain. Now, first of all, we have this. What we're going to do is we're going to do what we did in the beginning. We're going to introduce ourselves. But we're going to do it 3 times. Okay? The first time, I want you to do it as boring as possible. I don't even want to see teeth. I don't want to see anything. I just want to see, "Hi, my name is Michel. Nice to meet you. I'm the CEO of Amentis Group, and I'm really excited to be here." Yeah, so that's what I want you to do. The second one, we're going to do the complete opposite. And this is where some people becomes like, "Oh, I can't do that." Believe me, I have had 1,200 people in Stockholm just went berserk at Oscarsteatern last time we did it. So we can do it here in Helsingborg as well. And the last time, we're going to do it normally. All right? So, and this includes you guys at the bar. Standing there, go like, "Yeah, you guys can do that." You're not here to make paper, friends. We're here to create opportunity. Now, okay, so bring out your phone and you give it to the friend. Because this person is going to film you. Now it starts. "No, I'm too grown up to do this." This is the point. No one is going to see this except yourself. So there is a purpose with this. So don't be such a chicken and just do it. Okay, so what we do is we set the phone on video mode, all right, using the other person's phone so they can get to film themselves, all right? You will have 30 seconds, 20 seconds, no, 30 seconds, 30 seconds per person. Okay? In order to do this. So, when I count down 3, 2, 1, you're going to do your pitch for 30 seconds as boring as possible. Do everyone understand the task ahead? Everyone understand? Yes. All right. Okay, guys. This is the thing. One of the messages here is that energy is contagious, all right? And when I notice that we're in a business event, there's so much opportunities here. So I want you guys to stop walking like this and just be proud of what you are, okay? Now, give me your most boring pitch ever in 3, 2, 1, go. Now it's the other person's opportunity to do a very boring pitch. Okay? Make sure you have the other person's phone in your hand, and we start. I want you to do the most boring pitch you ever done. Listen, I hear somebody laughing around here, and that's not okay. Not yet. Okay? So, let's try again. The other person now. 3, 2, 1, go. Here comes the best part. This is the one that you're not going to forget for a long time, okay? Because being in business is all about going outside your comfort zone. So many times, every day, every week, every year. All true entrepreneurs in this room knows what I'm talking about. Now, what I want you to do is that I want you to imagine yourself that you have drunk at least 6 Red Bulls. You had 100 million in your bank account, and you just don't give a peep about anything, all right? So, for 30 seconds, I want you to completely go berserk on the other side of that rope that you just went to, okay? I want you to do your pitch as you were 5-year-old and back in the daycare where everything was possible, all right? I want you to, whatever comes into your head, it's okay. Because if you don't practice it here, when are you going to start? Okay? So, let's see which group can be most crazy. So guys, are you ready for this? Ah, this is so Sweden. Guys, are you ready for this? Yeah. That's good. Now, in 3, 2, 1, go! Stop! Thank you! That's great! Now, I'm a little bit disappointed, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I know most people here have this inner child where we're alone in the bathroom brushing our teeth, we do something in the mirror and so on. But here, because it's a lot of people, they go like, yeah, I'm so crazy. You know, stop doing that. All right? Because you never know when you have to just let loose of everything. I'm nervous too, standing here. Don't worry about it. Now, the next group that is going to do it, I want you to break all the limits in this house, all right? I want you to really go berserk and show the other group how it's done, all right? So, in 3, 2, 1, go! That's awesome! Thank you! Yes! I think you guys already can feel the energy in the room has shifted. So, now, I told you guys we're going to do it 3 times. Now, I want you, the other person that started, let's do it again. But this time, I was. So how did this feel? Energy, yeah. How's it feeling right now? What's your thoughts? Let's discuss this a little bit. What's your thoughts right now? Let's start with someone in the back.
Business as usual.
Love it. Business as usual. All right. Someone else? Let's go with. What's good?
I like it. I mean, speaking to really someone you don't know, because I mean, some people maybe said to someone they know, but talking to a person you haven't talked to before and really showing yourself
Yeah.
many different sides. It's challenging.
Awesome. Thank you. Something else? From this side? What's the feeling right now? What are you thinking?
Funny.
Hmm?
It was great. It was really fun.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah. Well, guess what? This is so funny because, again, what do you think we remember? Every study out there shows that we remember about 10% of what has been said 30 days later. Even, actually, it's a week. But we remember 90% of the feeling of the event. Many years after. And the stronger the feeling, the impact was, the longer we remember it. We know this when it comes to bad things, like bad memories, and so on. But why don't we focus more when it comes to our businesses and services? Somebody here were talking about customer service. Yes, there is a big challenge because most people actually do their job. But they don't focus on what feeling should I have when I hang up the phone, when I talk to the economy or whatever. The support line. And we have to realize that this is where we can see both, I work with global companies as well as the startup. And the thing is that when we see for big companies, for an example, the big challenge for them is to really understand that this is something that basically can create a whole new sales channel. If they just realize that back office could be their best sales channel, they can win back so many clients and new. So when you build your website, when you build your product, when you're out there talking about your product or service, bring a little heart into it. Bring yourself into it. Be authentic. Because that's what the successful brands do. I love what you guys talked about here in the beginning. And you said it over and over again. And we need to understand that if we incorporate these thoughts into our sales as well, our sales model or whatever, you're going to have a very successful natural growth in your business. And this is inevitable. It will just happen. So, for an example, going into a meeting, a business meeting, look at the video that you just recorded. Ask yourself, who will this company meet? The boring person or the energetic person? The person that was contagious with a great feeling, feeling of opportunity, feeling of something great. Or the other 65%. Well, thanks for the information. That was great. Thank you. There's so much more into understanding your clients, your market's buying behaviors today. And we need to realize that in order for us to create natural growth, we need to embrace sales as basically one of the most important ingredients in your business. But it's not about the product or service. Because sales is stories that you also heard before. Look at the car commercials. Look at one of the food chains here in Sweden. Everyone knows who's ICA Stig is. For 10 years. Not everybody knows his real name. So this is just awesome when you start to incorporate it. Now, there's so much to say about this, and I think you get the picture where we're going. I don't have too much time more to talk about this, but I will be here all day, so I hope to talk to a lot of you entrepreneurs here as well. If you want to connect on LinkedIn, then please do that. There's not too many people with this name anyway. But we also want to pass the torch with this, because I really want to explain to you what is a sales perspective for a startup and small business. Even a big company. If you're in a big company, then good for you. You can be part of this too. Because as I said in the beginning, we are on a mission. And this mission is that we know for a fact that one of the toughest decisions you can make is to start your own business. I've been there so many times not knowing how to pay my bills. I've been there so many times. I always say in a debate, I always say, if you haven't been there on the 18th and you're going to pay your bill the next week and you don't have any money on your account, that's when your true colors need to show. And that's part of what we want to equip the entrepreneurial society with. Because we know that in that moment when they have control of this, there is always like a seatbelt in the car. There's always a chance. So when you have your phone, and there's some papers there, you can go to this, Vamentis VIP /module 1. And we have these live webinars. It's for free. And let me explain furthermore what this really means. Because we work with so many, with hundreds of clients already. And this has proven over and over again. I don't care if you're a tech startup, if you're a small business, if you work for yourself, consultant, whatever. Please join and see for yourself. That's all for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if I don't talk to you, take care and just dare to be great. Thank you. Thanks.